All right, welcome everybody.
Hello, good afternoon.
I thought मैं ही अकेला पागल हूँ. So there are still people who want to grow in life. There are crazy people who are not getting paid, no free food, no comp off, but you guys still there. So really means a lot. Thank you so much everybody for coming in. Yeah, before we start the session, I just wanted to share my story, how I reached here. And some of you guys might find it very interesting because I think most of us, we all are from humble family. When I say humble, none of our forefathers were riches, and we were not born with the silver spoon in our mouth. So yeah, so as you guys know, name is Gadhvi. I was born and brought up in Gujarat, Kutch, in an average middle class family, probably little below average middle class. So my father was a truck driver. He was uneducated, he didn't know English. Neither was my mom. And I thought I'll share this story. There's no script here, there's no edit version. I just wanted to speak from my heart and wanted to share, who I am actually. So, being brought up in a family where nobody else within your relatives, far, they're all far from forget about English medium, they're far from education also. Right? So being brought up in that family, me and my brother, I think it was fun. There was a lot of expectation from us. Initial days, I don't think it was as tough as I think now. Initially it was tough, where we had a very small house. The community that we were living in, very I would say more like a backward community where we had a corner house. The house roof was made of, I don't know what वो cement का था ना, the cement के पतरे,
cement
sheets.
sheets,
Yeah, so we had cement sheets there, and it was corner house and surrounded by people who were like drunk most of the time. So you can always hear people abusing, fighting outside. But the best part about those days were my mom was the force who always held us together and made sure that we get the best surrounding and make sure we don't get any distraction. So initially when so funny story, right? So my dad, he was earning okay, he was not so great also. So when he asked, when my mom used to work as a maid at some places, at early initial days before she was married to my dad. So she used to go to families, Sindhi families, and those kids, they were well to do, so she used to see those kids are going to good education, good school and all, wearing nice dresses and all those things. So somewhere she had that idea that, oh, my kids, I also will raise my kids like that. When they grow up, they'll go to nice schools, just because she had that idea in her head. When she proposed that idea to my dad, I think it was tough sell. My mom was a good salesperson, I would say, because she had to convince my dad, and she had to make my dad understand how important it is to put the kids in an English medium school. My dad's objection: we don't have enough money. How can we afford? I think my mom was good objection handler as well. She was able to not only convince my dad to put us in English medium school, but also she had to fight against all the people, all the relatives surrounding. And I don't blame all the relatives at that time, because nobody was educated, nobody knew the value of education at that time. So these people, they used to come and tell my dad कि यार मत पढ़ाओ लड़कों को, why you putting them in English medium, you will not have money, you will go bankrupt, and all those things used to have. But my dad believed in my mom, and my mom believed in her dream that I'll give the best whatever I can, even if I have to borrow money, lend money, eat less food, survive without eating food, but I'll make sure that my kids get best of education. And I remember even when, as growing up, I used to go with my dad for a trip. I went on a couple of road trips. So he used to go for like 2 or 3 days, 4 days. So from Gujarat, he used to travel to Maharashtra, Jalgaon, Dhulia, and all those things. So he used to have the big tanker filling the naphtha and all those chemicals. I don't know, I'm again back in chemicals. So I used to go in those trips, and I used to see my dad work so hard. And usually, when you're a truck driver, you usually sleep through most of the afternoons and daytime, and you drive at night. So, when being in that place, probably I was around what 10, 12 years at that time when I was growing up. My dad used to tell me that, son, make sure that you study hard and become somebody good in life, because I don't want you to come in this line. I don't want you to, think about even, transportation or those kind of industry, because it's very difficult. So I used to see him, he used to drive for, whole night, where, you have the high beams coming from big trucks. You feel, feeling sleepy at times. You don't have, any timings for food. You don't know where you'll have your next meal, so you keep going. I remember once we could not find any hotel at night someplace, and we had to go for hours and hours to find finally one spot. So you get whatever you eat, you sleep in the truck, you have mosquitoes, you take bath wherever you find the place. So that was the life which I saw when I was, growing up. And those are the memories which, were very much imbibed in my head. And I remembered, when I got my first job in Reliance, and it was a, BPO, domestic call centers. So I was totally, I was totally bad at English, though I was from English medium. But when your upbringing in the community is where nobody is talking in English, it was very difficult for me to speak in English. My grammar was really bad. Yeah, so I saw those memories, and when I started working, I used to really work hard initially, because I knew that whatever I'm doing is nothing as compared to what my family or my dad or, everybody has seen. They borrowed money, lent money from everybody they could to make us, study and all. And I understood, okay, money is done something really important in life. We need to really thrive to become successful initial days. I even worked when I was studying in college. I even started working in courier company as a, part-time person, making probably what 2,000 rupees at that time. So I used to go to college, tuition, all those things, and evening I used to go to that. It was a small pawn shop type where they had a courier. They used to put a bench outside. So my job was to, collect the courier, make the receipts, and do that in the evening. In the morning before I go to college, I used to, go and distribute whatever parcels had come. So I used to do that. It was fun. I got to learn a lot of things there initial. So I was already exposed. So while growing up and, coming from that background, I knew that it's important to be rich. Okay, but there was one big thing which I did not realize for almost 8 to 10 years of my career. That was, I was still suffering from average thought process, average mentality. And I can challenge that more than, 150 million people staying in India. I don't think people they realize that they are stuck with the average mindset, the middle class mindset. People grow in their life, they change jobs, they get into community of people who are great, but still they cling on to average mentality. So I started my career, and I thought I was doing good. I was saving money even when I was, when I started my career with Reliance. So I still remember it was amazing time. So we used to get 6,500 for that job per month. Okay, and my mom was very strong. She raised us very well independently. First time when I left home and came to the corporate world, I had to leave Ahmedabad and I had to come to Mumbai. Nobody came with me. Right, I came alone, having no idea. I heard horrible stories about Mumbai, bad traffic, people are mean, be careful,
Let's not talk
pickpocketing.
about that.
Let's not talk about that. So I was a little scared going alone, but my mom, she made us, be little tough and little independent. So I came out alone. I figured out everything on my own, where to stay, what to do. I remember induction, we made some friends, some people came, everybody came from different places. So I connected with the group of people coming from Delhi, and Delhi people are very smart, right? So I think that company really helped me as well. Some of the good friends I'm still in touch with. So I stayed. I remember, earning 6,500. I cannot afford, of course, a good lavish life. So what I did is we all sat together. We asked, okay, कौन कहाँ घर देख रहा है? Let's, share the room and all those things. So I remember we were in one BHK, and that one BHK was around what 300 square feet or 350 400 square feet, in a small apartment, and we used to share that. I don't know if you can still guess how many people were staying. Anybody can guess how many people we were in that room?
All of them?
We were 10 people in that room. At one point in time, we were even 11 people. So it was so funny. I don't realize now, but now if I think, it was so crazy that in one bedroom, small bedroom, there were 5 people who will stay. sleep at night, and of course nothing, no bed sheets. It's just probably bed sheets or small cushions. I mean,
Good.
yeah, small couch we bought, the floor couch, cotton mattress type. Yeah, so that was later. Initially there was nothing. So because we did not want to spend money, right? We had no money at that time. So five people sleeping inside, six people sleeping outside in the hall. Hall also was small. So I remember, one of my good friend, his name was also Devinder, nice fellow. So he used to sleep next to me, and he used to snore a lot. Everybody used to snore, and I could not sleep coming from an environment where you sleeping in your own room, or that's that kind of sort. So anybody who'll turn and they'll touch me, I'll wake up at night. What happened? So I was that kind of person, and so I remember those days were fun. We had good fun time also. So I used to save whatever money I could, but I still every month I used to save probably 3,000. I could manage my month in 3,000 or 3,500, and I used to save 3 months. I used to save 10,000 because I know we had to pay the debt also, what we had made because of our education. Uh, from there, I did that for 1 year. Then I moved to international BPO. This was a domestic BPO. We used to take Gujarati call center. હું દેવ તમારી કેવી રીતના સહાયતા કરી શકું છું. So those were the days in Gujarati call center. So coming from there, when I was leaving it, I completed 1 year there, and I was moving from there. I was interviewing. I don't know how many interviews I failed at that time because my English was out of the world, right? So I went to a lot of calls, and I remember there was a GTL interviews, there were other international BPOs, but finally, with God's grace, there was one interview I attended. Was at the middle of night, 2:30. We got a pickup and drop. So that was company Wipro. So that was the Wipro. From 6,500, I moved into around 13,000 bracket, and those were that was the best memory I had from my corporate career initial days. When I was coming back with the offer letter, we got the on the spot. I think it was not 13, it was around 12, 11 or 12,000. So I was so happy and excited, and I got everybody, my mom, all my friends said, "Hey, I got a job at Wipro, international BPO." Those were the days, and when I came back, so again, people who were here in Reliance, they used to tell me that, "Hey, dude, it's an international BPO. If you don't perform, they throw you out." I said, "Okay, so you need to decide," and blah blah blah. But I said, "Look, yeah, I need to earn money, and I need to go after money. I know the value of money, so I'll cope up. I'll work hard." Okay. So that chapter get over. So I start working with Wipro BPO, and I'll tell you that was again my career changing moment or period. I stayed at Wipro for 3.5 years. Reason why it was career changing, because it actually groomed me, polished me in terms of English at least. So when I was there, initial on-job training, the usual on-job training is for around 3 weeks, right? So you go through 1 month classroom training, then you go through on-job training. So people who worked in call center probably can relate this. So I was so bad at my pronunciations, my grammar, and my ZTV used to sound like GTV. So it was really funny. Snacks, snakes, whatever. It was, you can imagine what all the weird Guju pronunciations, so and sure pronunciations. I think you guys can relate it well. So and sure was so predominant that I was so pathetic at it. So my coach, Jarusha and all those guys, when she used to call me for coaching, one-on coaching, she used to just laugh at listening to my calls. And I said, "What happened?" "Nothing, you're so funny." So it was so pathetic English. But that period was so nice, for after so I was in training. I thought they'll probably kick me out if I'm not fit. So I used to work hard. I extended that training by not 1 week, not 2 weeks, not 3 weeks, probably about, I don't know, I don't even recall now, but probably 5 weeks. So instead of 3 weeks of OJT, I was there for 2 months. Batches used to come, batches used to go, but no more batches used to go. I was the same old guy. But I did not give up, and neither did my coaches. And that was amazing period, and I learned a lot of things because it was English culture there. Used to talk to foreigners. Of course, day in day out, you have to talk in English. So that really helped. 1 year, so finally I got graduated and I hit the floor. So I used to take inbound calls, customer service for Wipro. One of the achievement that I consider myself was, after 1.5 years of struggling, not struggling, initial few weeks or months of struggle, I became so pro at what I was doing that I was promoted for the role which I was struggling for. So I was then teaching people how to talk and how to communicate in English and how to take calls and all those things. So I think that was a good achievement, and that was just in period of 1 year. Moving out from there, 3.5 years I spent there. Then I moved into small and medium businesses. I spent a lot of time in Oracle, 3.5 years. Then I moved to different industries. But one common thing, as I told you, I had that hunger in me, okay, that I want to do something good, and I was doing good until I stumbled upon again my life changing event, which was when I started watching Grant Cardone's videos and I read the book 10x Rule. The 10x book rule just opened my mind completely, and it made me realize that look, I thought I was doing good, and I was definitely above average, and that people used to recognize me. I was getting recognition, but that book made me realize that how small my dreams were. That made me realize how small were my goals were. That made me realize what mistakes I was making by just thinking average. Now then I started to look back after reading that book. Why I was thinking average. Because I don't know, I can blame other things. Maybe the community I was raised in, people around me, maybe my parents. I don't know. Without knowing or not knowing, they have not had big dreams. They had a dream that my mom had a dream that my kids will study English medium, but she never thought that we will make it big someday. So the surrounding plays an important role, that I realize that people who you hang out with, are they aspiring to become somebody in life, or they are just in their comfort zone, just living and getting by. Those books really inspired me, and since then I made a point that look, I will not do anything which is average in my life. I'm gonna have big dreams. And I was the one who was I was suffering through the average middle class mindset, and I'll make sure that I will help others come out of that mindset as well. Because I know for sure, at least if in India, if you just talk about middle class, 90% of the people who are at least in jobs and working and all, they're still in their average middle class thought process. They have not realized they have so much greatness and so much potential in themselves, is that they just need to increase their horizon, think big. The day when I started writing my goals down, that my goals also funny. People laugh at my goals, but again, here's the beauty about goals. If nobody's laughing at your goals, probably your dream is not big enough. So I started writing my goals, that I am going to build my legacy. I'm going to help 10 million people, in such a way that I have already helped 10 million people. I have written multiple books which are blockbusters. People love me and respect me for changing their lives. So these are the goals, and then of course monetary goals and whatever I want to do in terms of health goals, family goals. So I started the goals down every single day, and I see a tremendous change in me. In just last 2 years alone, I can tell you, I've been able to manage to more than increase my income more than 100%, and probably 150% in coming next appraisals and all. That's just income part. But leaving that aside, I started feeling good when I started my blogging, started writing stuff. Everything started happening and falling in place. Moment I just start writing my goals and start taking action. So then I started thinking, okay, what can I do? What can I do? How can I reach more people? Started making videos, started making YouTube channel. Here's the beauty about greatness, right? If you're great, if you're thinking great, you will attract greatness. The people around you will start think equally, and people who are great, you will automatically start mingling with them. You'll start losing your friends who are average, who are stuck with average mentality. Maybe you try to bring them up to speed. Some of my good buddies who used to work with Wipro, very nice friend, chaddi buddy types. I had to part ways with that person because I tried to bring those people up to speed. They could not. But everybody evolves slowly over a period of time. Today, I sit with a goal of helping 10 million people, and I know for sure this is not a desire, want, wish, hope, pray. I know for sure that I will make it big someday. It's not overconfidence, but I believe in myself. And I realize that making money, making it big, it's not at all impossible. It is possible. But all we got to do is we first need to tune our mindset. And that's when I thought, okay, I'm going to write a book which is going to change many, many lives. I'm going to do a lot of speaking engagement. It's not for money, okay? It's for helping people because I feel good. Because I was the one who was going through that phase without realization. If I can help and make people understand right now, probably they can save the 8, 10, 12 years of their career and they can get ahead where they wanted to. So if I had that mindset before, I had that hunger, but I still did not realize where I was going wrong with the average thought process. But if I can make other people realize, probably I would have gone somewhere else now. I would have been, sitting doing some other thing. So I have bigger thoughts, bigger visions, bigger ambitions, which I know for sure will come through. So yeah, this is my story, and I'm really glad that there are people who are part of my stories, and I can challenge whoever is associated with me and who is truly connected with me, either in form of working together or following me on any social media. I have WhatsApp group, Winners Club. I think some of you are already part of it. People who are there with me, and it's my commitment as well that my hunger will not go away. And people who are with me, I'm sure everybody will grow together, right? And just off late, I remembered, why people feel good, when we help somebody, right? I'm sure you might have helped somebody in your career, you might have helped someone else, I'm sure you might have felt good. There is a scientific reason behind that, which is, there is a chemical which is released in your brains. I think it's a dopamine or oxytocin, I don't know. Some sort of chemical release in your brains when you help somebody, and that makes you feel so good and so proud of yourself that you feel your life is worth it. And not only it makes me feel happy when I'm doing something good, but people who are watching the act of kindness also feel good, and they also get a shot of dopamine or oxytocin. So I said, yeah, this is immense. This is immense. I need to do this, and I need to keep moving, doing this. So then I started writing books, reaching out to people, making sales videos. I also helped some of the street vendors, which I put it up on YouTube, because I know Varun Pruthi is one of my mentor, at least in that humanity angle. Grant Cardone is my mentor in sales and motivation. And similarly, there are other Les Brown and all from the life and success background. So then I started studying. Okay, what is the formula of success? Then I studied all the big players, and I've been doing this for the last 1-2 years. Studying people who ever become successful. What is it that has made them successful? One common thing is their mindset. They don't give up. They continuously work towards a dream, and the goals that they have crazy. They write their goals down. There are some common things about them which is making them great, and I realize it's not at all hard for anybody to become great at their life. So yeah, this is my story, and thank you so much for being part of it. I hope it makes sense to you guys, and yeah, thank you.
Our pleasure.